Hi everyone and good afternoon. Today we're going to be looking over the Code of Ethics that are created by the Council for Exceptional Children. And this is going to be like your overview, your special educator's guide to excellence. So the biggest thing is, why do we need a Code of Ethics? And the Code of Ethics from the Council of Exceptional Children gives us professional ethical principles, practice standards, and professional policies. They're put in place to hold the teachers of exceptional children, the students with disabilities, and their families to the highest expectation and standards. So you'll see as we go through the 12 principles, family and the students are actually built into some of those principles. Biggest thing to know is that all educators, whether you are a special education teacher or a general education teacher, all teachers are bound by a code of ethics. Special educators, we just have the additional 12 principles of the CEC that we are guided by. They are the guiding principles for our profession. And they're created to protect the diverse characteristics and needs of individuals with exceptionalities and their families. Over to the side here, I've added a couple links. The first one, the Council for Exceptional Children, that'll take you right to the Council for Exceptional Children website. So I encourage you, if you have some time, look around this website. There's great stuff, awesome resources. The policy and advocacy is a big thing, and that one, if you have time, look through that so you can be up to date on what's going on in our profession. The second link is the link to the PDF version of the Code of Ethics for special educators, and it gives you all 12 of the principles there. So the first umbrella that I'm going to touch on involves the Code of Ethics Principles 1 and 2, and this falls under just having high expectations. So the first one is making sure that your classroom environment is challenging for all the students so they can develop the highest possible learning outcomes and quality of life potential throughout their education. So set your expectations high for each student. Believe that they can succeed. If your students know that you believe in them, they're going to then believe in themselves. And this will help them find their own confidence. The second principle is maintaining a high level of professional competence and integrity, exercising good professional judgment to benefit the individuals with exceptionalities and their families. So the biggest things with this one is when you're working in an inclusive classroom, it can be very challenging. You may not be in that one grade level or that one room all day long. Most likely you're bouncing around. So make sure you're prepared walking into the classroom. Make sure you know what you're teaching. Make sure you know what's expected of you, what you're expecting of the students. And if you aren't sure of how to teach the content, or you're not knowledgeable in that area yourself, take the time to do the research outside of work. And if you don't know, find the answer before you try and deliver it to your students. The next umbrella that we're going to touch on is all about relationships. And I've grouped the Code of Ethics Principles 4, 5, and 6 under this relationship umbrella. Number 4 is big with collaboration. It is so key in the inclusive environment that you collaborate with the general education teacher, the speech and language pathologist, the occupational therapist for those students with exceptionalities. Plan together. Plan your lessons together as much as possible. If you don't have a common planning time during the day, make sure you find that time after school to get together and plan, so you know you're setting the same expectations for students. You develop their goals together. You break down the lessons together. You might have a really great idea as the special education teacher, and the general education teacher may not know exactly how to present the material. And so if you take that time to collaborate, you will become a very strong unit, and your students will then respect both of you in the same light. Number 5 is all about developing the relationship with families. Base it on mutual respect. Get the parents involved. I know it can be hard to communicate with some. Sometimes we have parents that don't show up for anything. And then we have some parents that are at every single thing. They don't miss it. But make sure that you have ongoing communication. Make sure that the communication is both positive and it gives them, the areas of improvement. You don't want to just continue to tell the parents where the weaknesses are. Let them know where the strength is and where success has been made, because they'll want to be in that moment and share that joy with their child as well. In the IEP, make sure that you are helping the parent understand goals that are set, accommodations, placement. Make sure it's a dialogue, it's a conversation, and not just the IEP team of educators telling them what is necessary. Help them voice their concern, and then make sure that you're understanding it in terms that they can comprehend. So make sure they're engaged with their child's education, and this you can help do just by communicating with them on a regular basis. Number 6 is using evidence and instructional data research and professional knowledge to inform practices, to improve your practices. That goes with number 4 in the collaboration. If you collaborate with your general education teacher and the other educators that may work with your students with exceptionalities, you'll find ways to improve your educational practices. The classroom environment. So the classroom environment is going to involve the ethic principles 3, 7, and 8. And number 3 is promoting a meaningful and inclusive environment for individuals with exceptionalities in the school and in the community. This is where IDA, least restrictive environment, comes into play. Students need to be involved and included in the general education population as much as possible. One of the biggest things in the inclusive classroom for this is making sure that your groups are mixed. You don't ever want students to be able to pick out students and identify them as students with disabilities. So make sure when you're doing guided reading or guided math groups, it's a mix of both general education students and those students with exceptionalities. Number 7 is protecting and supporting the physical and psychological safety for students. So the biggest thing here is making sure that your students are educated in a safe and nurturing environment for themselves and others. And then number 8 is for us as educators that we will not engage nor tolerate practice that harms individuals with exceptionalities. So making sure that we're prepared to handle behaviors in the classroom, knowing strategies to de-escalate them in a respectful manner, and then helping your students learn ways that they can change their negative self-talk into positive self-talk. Put things in place that are incentives for the students who may have some behaviors. Help them feel like they can accomplish things. It kind of gives them that confidence that we were talking about in the earlier slides, and then it helps your classroom environment remain positive. The last principles, 9, 10, 11, and 12, can all be grouped under an umbrella that's all about advocating and engaging in growth opportunities. So number 9 is upholding the laws, regulations, and policies that are put in place for our professional practice. and then advocating for improvements of those laws, regulations, and policies. So that's where that link for the Council for Exceptional Children, if you go to the advocacy tab, you can learn and make sure you understand kind of what's going on as far as laws that will involve our profession and the students that we work with. Number 10 is advocating for professional conditions and resources. If you feel like you don't have the right resources to teach your students effectively, ask. Ask your principal, ask your county, write a grant, take it in your hands to get that information, those resources that you feel will help improve their education. Advocate for your students' needs in the classroom. You are their biggest fan a lot of times, you and their parents, so you have to be the one there to help improve the conditions for them. Number 11 is engaging in the improvement of our profession through active participation in professional organizations. You can be a member of the Council for Exceptional Children, but you don't have to join anything to be an active participant. Go to professional development opportunities that are specific towards your content area that you are working in, whether that's academic or whether that's behavioral. Taking the time to take extra classes to become more involved and knowledgeable is a great step in helping improve our profession. Number 12 is participating in the growth of professional knowledge and skills. So going back and getting your master's or getting your specialist, taking additional courses that your county might offer, taking training sessions that are offered in the evening to help you with behavior management strategies, or collaborating with a group of professionals in your community, sharing ideas that you might have. You'll be amazed that you can learn a lot from just the people in your building and in the surrounding buildings around you. So in conclusion, we have the Code of Ethics as guiding principles to help us make sure that our students are educated in a safe and nurturing environment. We have to set our students up for success so they can reach their fullest potential. And the guidelines that the Council for Exceptional Children has put in place for special educators, students with disabilities, and their families help kind of bring all of that together and hold us accountable for our job and what we do, because we don't have just a small task. So we always have to be willing to do a little extra. So that's it. This next slide is the references that I've used. It's the link for the Council for Exceptional Children, and then the 2 photographs that were used throughout the presentation. So thank you, and thank you for what you do for these children. Bye.